8.
End up going to America. You picked a school. What school did you pick?
I picked I picked Presentation College. It was an NAIA in South Dakota. It was just the right fit. I always knew I didn't want to go somewhere where, listen, I was not a great athlete. So, I needed to go somewhere where my lack of athleticism wasn't gonna. I didn't need to be in New York or Florida, where that was stupid. I didn't understand why a guy like you that had all the bouts would go to states like that. So I definitely wasn't gonna go to places like that. So I chose a school where the coaches were good, the program was good, or the program was the right. I could have gone in and impacted. Financially, they gave me a great package. Everything was good in terms of that. And then the coach left. The coach ended up going to. You remember that was the year that Corey Hightower, and Ernest Brown were drafted in the top 10 straight out of JUCO to the NBA. They went from a school called Indian Hills, a JUCO in Iowa. That Iowa conference was ridiculous. He went and took a head coaching job in that conference.
Oh, nice.
So he called me up and was like, you can come here. I can't give you a full scholarship, but I can get you pretty close. It's a little bit more expensive. I can give you, you'll get some good things because you get them automatically by going to the school. But I don't know how much you'll play. And you are in the best JUCO conference in the country. And it's going to be cutthroat, but you'll definitely get a full scholarship after. At that time, I was kind of very much, I talked to D2s. I'd even flirted with some D1s that were talking about the same, like not playing for it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to play.
Yes.
So I ended up going and choosing a school called Bellevue University because he found this school for me. Now, that was probably one of the most interesting experiences that have shaped my journey.
What to me?
So I go in there and he's brought in 27 or 23 players, either 23 new recruits and 27 of us, right? Because he got the job late. And this was the first lesson I learned. In the States, when you're not sure, you are going to over-recruit. You're going to recruit volume. That's what recruiters do. People complain about people that have these deep, great squads, but it's because they don't have a clue who's coming to them, so they recruit volume. And at that point, I didn't expect there to be that volume because he was a new coach. He was a guy that came from Creighton University, D1 coach. He had coached D1. He had got into the Final Four, Sweet 16 with the Creighton team. He was captain. He was a good coach. Todd Eisner, his name was. And this guy just brought so many of us. But when you talk about him bringing so many of us, it wasn't just that he brought a lot of us. He brought caliber. so it wasn't like you were coming in the door and you're safe. You were safe. Like I'm in there with just like JUCO transfer after. I don't even know what JUCO was in them days. And then you're playing with guys like we had one guy that signed. He left us and he cut maybe the three most talented players on the team. One guy was about 6'9". He signed pro with the same agent as Bonzi Wells. That's who he went to work out with. And this guy played the point. He played the point and he played it. And then he had another guy, Sharon Clark, out of Chicago, 6'6", D2 JUCO, had been to the Final Four for the JUCO, just dunked on everyone. McDonald's All-American candidate, like he was very, very good. And then he had another guy that just won the Division III National Championship JUCO and led them in scoring. I can't remember his name, but he cut him too because he wasn't focused enough. And then there was more. There was guys from his old team. There were guys from, and I just remember being there. I remember being in the gym. And I remember getting through preseason, and I was young then, so I was like still kind of didn't really realize what was going on. And I chose to redshirt that year, which I probably shouldn't have done. I should have just played. But at the time when I looked around the roster, I was like he's got a senior guard. He's brought in another senior guard. There's me and a freshman battling it out. the freshman's local. This kid was like, his name was Brent. He was like a pass first point guard, like a quarterback. He was skinny. He was like wiry. He shot it okay, not much better than I shot it because I didn't really shoot it well either. But what he did really well was he ran everything. And then I had like a stocky little powerful guy that was one of the strongest on the team. And then I had then I had a smaller guy that was really versatile. So with all three of them, it was a very interesting dynamic. So I chose to redshirt. That team went on to get to the national tournament, and I think that year, they got to the national tournament. They turned around their season, went 27-1 after cutting the best three players on the team. And then I saw them again once I transferred, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I transferred the year later, and 4 years later, we saw them at the tournament. They lost in the final of the NAIA championship, and the point guard that me and him were battling for that third guard spot as freshmen, he played. So he played, and he didn't. He got the Iron Man award because he only sat 7 minutes in the tournament, and they finished second. Yeah, he was, and that was a guy I was battling with. So that was a really interesting.
That's a smart move on your. But that's a smart move on your end to be able to see a situation, assess it, and not allow your pride to take over what is right there in front of you. Hats off to you for being that mature at that age, to be honest with you. That's a big.
Yeah. And I think that the other thing is, I probably made some decisions that probably hurt me. I didn't understand redshirting properly. The school was like, we'll give you some money back if you play football. I'd always played football before I came out there. I was like, yeah, I'll play. If you can give me some money, I'll, they're always good things, So that probably wasn't the best decision for my basketball career out there.
Because that still counts as you playing.
Yeah. And it starts my clock, and it should have still not hurt my body. It was more about the amount of years I took. So that redshirt year meant it ate out another year for me, even though I thought it wouldn't eat out another year. Yeah. So I lost the year anyway. But I think that, I was kind of very naive. I didn't understand how this bit's really important. I think I didn't understand how important the coach-player relationship was. So I didn't. When I started to film in sessions, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go and get I'm gonna go and try and find another school," I didn't think he wanted me there, but that wasn't really the case. It wasn't till I was filming and he came along and said to the person that was filming, because I had this on camera, he was like, "Why is he filming?" And they said, "Well, yeah, he's looking for another school." And that's the first time he heard of that or understood that. And so he's like, "Why is he looking for another school?" And he's like, "Well, he just don't think you're, he didn't think," because, my perspective was I was seeing new guards come in that looked better than Wale and guys like that. so I was like, man, where do I fit? But I'm not understanding the system is a system. So they're always going to bring in better players. You just got to get better. And
that's it. That's the key thing. I'm good. And I hope anyone who's young watching this, I'm just going to go over what you just said there. You have to get better. You know what I mean? If anything you lot get from watching this today, just listen to that bit. You have to get better. So no matter what the competition is, just say to yourself, if you're around that competition long enough, you will eventually, even if you just turned up and you didn't do nothing for a whole year, just being in an environment of people who you might even perceive to be better than you, it will rub off on you. You naturally would just get better, because no one plays sports and wants to suck. So you see what they're doing, you work out with them, they'll show you 1-2 things, and so I think that's a key thing. But sorry, I just wanted to point that one out.